High Tension. This is a movie I watched mid through October, and I just haven't had the chance or the time to talk about this movie because not every horror movie through October I can review because I don't have the time, but I have tried to review as many horror movies this month as I can. And High Tension is one that has been, since I watched it this month, this movie has been bugging me. Um, because it's kept me thinking and wondering about the twist ending, and it's kept me questioning the movie that I just saw. Um, so I do want to talk about this movie because I do have some of my own thoughts and opinions that I do want to share with you guys. So yeah, this is I'm trying to catch up because October is wrapping up. So I'm going to try and get some reviews out this weekend and following on to next week if I'm not too busy. So we'll see how the timing goes. But I am hoping to do a review of Trick or Treat and Halloween. So yeah, we will see how that goes. But they're two movies I am going to be watching next week. I just don't know if I will have the time or not. But like I said, we will see and time will tell. So anyways, let's talk about High Tension. So I wrote down some notes as I was watching. These are the notes that I wrote down when I watched the movie throughout October. So I haven't really added anything new to this. Um, but yeah, I'll just go off what I have written down here. So the first thing I've written down here is the first hint to the twist. I'm sure if you're watching this review, you have already seen High Tension because I will be talking about the twist ending and I will be questioning a lot about the twist ending. So if you don't want this movie to be spoiled for you, or if you haven't seen High Tension, go watch the movie and then come back to this review because I will be spoiling the twist. So yeah, if you don't want it spoiled for you, this is your spoiler warning. So yeah, because I will be talking about spoilers throughout this review, not only regarding the twist ending, but just like what happens in the movie and all that. So, like I said, the first thing I was going to talk about was the first hint to the twist, Marie's nightmare. So in the opening of this movie, we see Alex and Marie in the car together, traveling to this house in the middle of nowhere, because they want to get out. They want to get out in the country a bit. They want to go somewhere quiet for a weekend to study because Marie and Alex know each other from college, and so yeah, they want to get some more studying time in. So yeah, they go to this house where there won't be any distractions, where they'll be able to get some good study time in. But let's just say it doesn't. Their weekend plans don't go exactly as they planned, and let's just say it turns into a living hell. Um, and so yeah, but yeah, just back onto the point. So the first hint to the twist, and our introduction to Marie in this movie is she wakes up from a nightmare, and she's describing the nightmare to Alex, and she describes it as she was the killer in her nightmare, which is probably our first and only hint to the eventual twist in this movie. So yeah, main character's introduction in the car. I've already talked about that. Killer's introduction. So the killer's introduction, it's very weird and strange because the killer is being headed with a head, But I think the introduction to the killer, I think it really sets the tone. It really sets up who this guy is in just a single scene. You can tell that this guy is wrong in the head. He's not the type of guy you want to F around with, because he is actually quite scary in this movie. Like, if he sees someone, he will immediately kill you. Like he does with a lot of people in this movie. But just speaking on the killer's introduction for a minute, I'm going to talk about the twist here, because this is where this is basically after the introduction of this movie, where it's our first hint. Everything else in this movie you are questioning, because nothing makes sense. And if you look at the twisting in this movie, and then you go back and look at the movie that you just watched, it makes no sense. But yeah, just I'm gonna talk about the killer's introduction. So the eventual twist is apparently Marie was the killer the whole time. She was the one who's killed everybody, and she's been the one chasing after Alex this entire movie. And this brings up my first issue with the twist in this movie. Because if Marie is the killer the whole time, where the hell did she get this Jeepers Creepers type truck from? Because in the opening scene, Marie and Alex were in the same car together, so they didn't take two separate cars. They were all in the one car. So did Marie just find this old rusty truck when she got there? Like, I don't know how that works. Like, where the hell did that come from? But that's only just one issue. But then also, how does the whole killer's introduction work if Marie is the killer the whole time? Like, I don't want to get too much into that point, because I have many other points written down here that I want to talk about. So let's move on from that point, because I have many other points written down here where I am questioning the twist. So yeah, the relationship between Marie and Alex. So this ties an important part in Marie's motivation for why she's doing what she's doing in this movie, and why she's killing everyone, and why she's chasing after Alex. The relationship ties a big part into the twist of this movie. So apparently, Marie has deep feelings towards Alex, but Alex doesn't really feel that way. Doesn't really feel that way for Marie. And Alex likes staying friends, but Marie wants to be something much closer with Alex. And that's never really clearly stated to the audience. Because there's a scene very early on in the movie, before shit gets real, where Marie is outside and she's on the swing, and she looks up in a window and she sees Alex in the shower. And Marie's been killing everyone because she thinks she is the perfect person for Alex, and she doesn't want anyone else to be with Alex except her. So she won't let anyone be with Alex. So she kills anyone who even gets close to Alex. And so the story that this movie is telling, it's a love story. It's a love story turned bad. I think that would be the best way to put it. Because it finally clicked with me this viewing that this movie was that this movie is a love story, because as I was paying close attention to the clues, it all clicked with me that this is a love story, and how far Marie will exactly go to get Alex for herself. In Marie's head, she thinks she is doing the right thing by chasing after Alex, by staying close to the killer, and she will do whatever it takes to save Alex. And the killer is trying to separate them, let's say, because there's a point in this movie, where Marie escapes the Jeepers Creepers type truck, and she goes to try and get help. That there's a psychopath chasing after us and all of that. And so she enters the gas station, and then only a few minutes later, the killer enters the gas station, and it seems like the killer and Jimmy, who's the gas station guy, they know each other pretty well. That the killer is a daily customer, and this just brings up a question. So Marie's the killer the whole time, and this killer doesn't really exist. Only in Marie's head he exists. So when the killer enters the gas station, how does Marie know Jimmy? Because this is Marie's first time in this part of the country. At least I can only assume. I don't think it's ever said, unless it's in the opening scene. But this is her first time, seeing like Alex's family or family friends or whatever. So how does Marie know Jimmy? Like, that makes no sense. So when Jimmy's looking at the killer, he's actually looking at Marie, who's hiding behind one of the shelves. So who's actually talking to Jimmy in that scene? It's like it can't be Marie, because Marie was hiding behind one of these shelves from the killer. Was Jimmy just talking to the thin air? But that's not really my problem. Like, the more I think about that, the more stupid and silly it is. My problem here is, how the hell does Marie know Jimmy? Like, that's never said. So when Jimmy's talking to the killer, he's actually talking to Marie. But when the killer enters the store, the killer says, "Hey Jimmy, how are ya?" It's so if that's Marie entering the store, how does Marie know Jimmy's name? It's like, I don't buy the fact that she's a casual customer here. Like, she doesn't live in this part of town. This is just like a gas station that they just stop at. So but then before the gas station scene, the killer, Marie and Alex are in the back of the killer's truck. So the killer escapes the trucks, because the killer's Marie. So she escapes. Makes no sense. There's just so many scenes in this movie that just don't make sense. Like, there's a scene when Marie puts barbed wire over a baseball bat and she whacks the killer with it. So Marie's hitting herself with it if Marie is the killer. How does that work? Like, who's holding the bat? Who's doing what? Like, it, so Marie's doing that to herself. It makes no, it makes just like no sense. And then there's like another scene when the killer suffocates Marie, and it's like, so that's Marie doing that to herself. So when Marie is hurting the killer, she's actually hurting herself because she is the killer. That's how the movie executes this ending. The movie is just one big question mark. Like, nothing makes sense, and like the more you think about it, the more stupid it is, because nothing makes sense. So like, what is actually happening with the scenes when it's Marie and the killer both in the same shot? And how was the blowjob scene? How does that make sense? Like, there's just so many scenes that that you just question, like, how. And like, a lot of people defend this movie by saying, like, that this is just her perspective of the story and that this is what she thinks happened. Like, that's not how this ending is executed. The ending's executed as Marie was the killer the whole time, and Marie is the character that we are with for majority of this story, and she has a lot of screen time in this movie. Like, if you wanted to, I guess, make this ending better, don't make Marie the main character. Because with the scenes with her and the killer, it makes no sense. You made Alex the main character, on the other hand. That would at least make sense in the scenes when it was the killer and Alex, instead of Marie and the killer, who Marie is the eventual killer in this movie. If it was Alex, that would at least make sense of why the killer would be after her, because the killer is Marie. I've ranted long enough about this ending, but if you want to make this movie better, don't do this last second twist where Marie is the killer, but also our main character and main focus of the story being told. Because those scenes made no sense. Like, just don't do it. But yeah, like, a lot of my problems just come from the twist. Like, if here's the thing, if you completely remove the twist ending from this movie, this is a pretty solid slasher film. This is a good movie without its ridiculous twist. But yeah, like, there are some things in this movie I really do like, so let's talk about them. So the performances from Marie and Alex, I thought Marie was a really strong character. Just removing the twist, Marie was a really strong character throughout this film. Like, she carries the film really well. The actor who played Alex, I thought, was really good. But in the end, this is Marie's story. Marie is the character that we are following, and throughout the film, like, the film builds her as this really strong character. Like, by the end of this film, like, she overcomes the killer. Like, before this whole twist happens, and like I said, she will do anything to save Alex. And there's a lot of, like, suspenseful scenes with Marie and the killer. Like, obviously, looking back at them, they are still silly scenes, but looking at them just like as a standalone, like, they are good scenes. Like, there's a scene I have written down here, about suspense, where this is at the beginning of the movie, where the killer kills, like, the family, where the killer, like, he knocks on the door, and then he just basically starts like doing everyone left and right. There's a scene when the killer, what opened down here? Killer walking slowly around Marie's room as she's hiding under the bed. So yeah, like Marie's under the bed, and she has to be really quiet. And I thought that scene had some really good suspense. There's another scene in the bathroom at the gas station where Marie is hiding in one of the toilet stools, and the killer is in the bathroom as well. And I thought there was some good suspense there. So yeah, the suspense in the movie I thought was really good. There's a good amount of intensity in the film. Gore. There is a fair amount of it in here, and it is really impressive on screen. Whether it's practical or CGI, it looks really good. And plus, Alexandra Ajar, the director of High Tension, that's his style. He likes to really make a really bloody, a really disturbing, gory film. As you can tell from his future work after this, because I believe this was one of his first movies he did, and then when he went over to do the Hills Have Eyes remake, and then he did 2019's Cruel, and both those movies have been really gory, and that's like what he feels comfortable with doing, and I feel like he's good at handling this type of stuff. So when Alexandra Ajar's name is attached to a movie, you can expect it to be really bloody, to be really graphic. Because all of his movies up until now, at least the ones that I have seen, they have been really good. They've been really graphic. They have been very disturbing. They've been very disturbing in detail at how much they actually show. And Alexandre Ajar, like he takes risk with his movies. Alexandre Ajar's direction really works in this movie, especially in the scenes that were supposed to be suspenseful and intense, because I don't think those scenes would have been as intense or suspenseful without Alexandre Ajar's direction. The point I've written down here is the look and the color of the movie. It has a very darkish blue to it, and I think that's one of the things that when I watched it this viewing, that was something I really appreciated with this movie was just how was the color scheme, the color palette, and just what they did with the colors. I thought they really did a good job. That is my review of High Tension. Outside of the twist ending, I think this is a really good movie, but with the twist ending and the final product that we got, I feel like that this movie is it's a missed opportunity, because this movie could have been way better, because this movie was like so high. This movie was like top notch up until its twist ending, when it pulls all of its tricks out of its bag, and it tries to surprise its audience with really no clues throughout the film, minus a few that I've mentioned. I don't think the movie's horrible. It is a movie that I am going to watch, but it's hard to take it seriously. Just looking at all these scenes from the perspective of how its twist ending is pulled off, it's hard to look at these scenes it's hard to look at these scenes the same again when this is the ending that we got. But like I said, I think it was a missed opportunity, and I do understand that there was studio interference, and that the studio, I believe, out of what I've researched and read up on, that the studio is how they wanted this ending to go. I liked High Tension. I'm not in a rush to go back and watch it again, but I enjoyed it. So, anyways, let me know down in the comments. Have you guys seen High Tension? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you think it was meh? Or did you really not like it? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below. So, anyways, guys, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, and night, wherever you are. And I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye.